Welcome everybody to the virtual Gonzaga Family Experience. This is an NCAA Athletics session for Division I student athletes. My name is Ryan Oliver and I'm an Associate AD here at Gonzaga. I did want to start with a quick disclaimer. This session is not intended for our club sports or intramural participants, so if that's the information you're looking for, this is not the session for you. And I don't want to waste your time. So if you or your child is currently a member of a Division I athletic sport here at Gonzaga, then you're in the right spot. So a quick welcome. We are so excited to bring our new ZAG family here on campus. And I'm just here to talk a little bit about services that we provide to our student athletes and NCAA rules that you and your child will have to follow as they continue on as Division I athletes. And a quick intro to our guiding philosophy here for our athletic department. And that is that we will win in three ways. We will win in the classroom, in competition, and in the community. It goes without saying that the pandemic has added some challenges to this, but it has not changed our commitment to supporting student athletes in their journey through college and supporting them in development in the mind, body, and spirit. So today we have information from academic services, life skills development, health and wellness, and compliance. These are just a few support staff members that are in addition to your child's coaching staff, sports supervisor, and athletic administration. We're excited to see you all here today. And I'm going to turn it over to the academic services area.
Hi parents and family, my name is Stephanie Galbraith and I'm the Director of Academic Services within the Athletic Department. First and foremost, we're really excited that your son or daughter is going to be joining us this fall as a ZAG, and hopefully in the next couple slides I can give you a sneak peek into what they can expect from an academic perspective. Here is our staff. So myself, Stephanie, and then Mitch Coughlin, our academic coordinator, and Olivia Sands, one of our graduate interns. And then we also have Dr. Peggy Sue LaRaz, who is our faculty athletics representative and a professor of marketing here at GU. As you already all know, Gonzaga Athletics is committed to academic success in the classroom. It's something that we take really great pride in and something that our student athletes also take great pride in and are able to sort of accomplish a lot of really awesome things while being able to manage the demands of being a student athlete at the Division I level. So this past spring, we were able to have a departmental record of a 3.51 GPA, which is incredibly impressive and something that we hope to duplicate again this fall. Here are just some of the resources available to student athletes through our office. So academic advising, they'll have primary academic advisors across campus within their major, and then we each serve as secondary advisors within the athletic department. Academic monitoring, so just making sure all of our student athletes are staying on track. Tutorial services, we have tutors within the athletic department that student athletes can work with one-on-one, and there's also a number of resources available across campus that we can connect them to as well. Academic integrity, obviously a big component of who we are and what we do. So we ask all student athletes to take an assessment on the academic integrity policy each semester. NCAA academic eligibility benchmarks, these are benchmarks that your student athletes are meeting every semester and that the academic staff and compliance are working really closely to monitor. And then other services, we have a testing coordinator for athletics. Should a student athlete miss an exam or quiz due to team travel, this individual can proctor. We talk a lot about time management skills and organizational strategies. What can be expected during that first semester? Every freshman meets with someone on the academic staff once a week just to check in about all things school and life and make sure that no one's fallen through the cracks and that we get to know all of your student athletes, and hopefully those relationships grow over the next 4 years. They'll be provided with academic resources within our 1 credit EDP 195 new athlete orientation course. During that course, we'll also go over class registration and tips and tricks for that, so that all students are ready to go come time for spring registration. And then we'll be sending out progress reports for all freshman student athletes to faculty as well to make sure that they're staying on track. A couple other information points, transfer AP and running start credits. If you haven't already done so, encourage your student to check in ZagWeb that all of their credits have transferred appropriately. If not, to resend those scores or resend those official transcripts. Any absences due to athletics are going to be communicated from our area and to faculty, and encourage students to have those conversations one-on-one with faculty. Schedule changes the first 2 weeks of every semester is an open add drop period, so student athletes can work with us to make any changes to their schedule during that time. Disability access, if your son or daughter's had accommodations through high school that you would like in place here at Gonzaga, I would start that process now with disability access so that those accommodations are in place come time for the student to potentially need them. And then with regards to FERPA, your student is going to sign one of the compliance forms in ARMS that gives us, the secondary academic advisors, access to their academic information. But know that through university policy, that's not information that we can pass along to you unless we get your student athlete's permission. So know that if you reach out to us, we're going to need to check with your son or daughter first before releasing any of that information. And then just please encourage your student athletes to reach out to us, utilize us as a resource. There's 320 student athletes, and we really do try to get to know all of them, but know that the more they communicate with us, the better we're able to help support them. So really looking forward to meeting your son or daughter, and go Zags.
Hi everyone, my name is Emma Moon. I am the Director of Life Skills Development with Gonzaga Athletics, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our life skills programming and what to expect for freshman student athletes. We base our programming off of these 5 pillars. So community outreach, leadership, personal development, career, and community building. We think that those are really key and critical parts to the growth and the development of our student athletes. So outreach as a whole from an institutional perspective, really, really important. The idea from a Jesuit model of serving others, and also from their own kind of personal development in terms of growing as the whole person. We know that they are going to be students and we know that they are going to be athletes, but we really, really prioritize outreach in terms of knowing where we stand and the privilege that we have, that we can reach out to others and be leaders within our community. You'll see some stats from last year. This year will look a little bit different, although we will still hold it in high regard as a top priority, in that we're going to have to get creative with outreach, but we'll still be partnering a lot. A lot of our teams take part in it as kind of their own team building scenarios, an opportunity for individuals as well as teams. Some will come to us independent from the departmental plans and the departmental events that we host for outreach, but we will still take part in a lot of that and just have to probably do a lot virtually and social distancing and all that kind of stuff. But that will be a part of their experience right off the bat. From a leadership development standpoint, they do have the opportunity to take part in what's called SAC, the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. This is like a student voice for student athletes. It's across the nation at the departmental level, but they also take part in things at the WCC and the national level for the experience of student athletes, the opportunity to provide feedback to better the experience for current and future student athletes. And then also this group is a huge part of keeping our culture together in terms of fostering an environment for everybody to grow on all 14 teams. So they do have that option to take part in this group. There's also a specific leadership institute, which is more like a cohort-based model, and it is specific to leadership development in the way of self-assessment and diving into the different leadership kind of areas, so to speak. And that takes part more so sophomore or junior year, but they will hear about that this fall. From a personal development standpoint, I think we view our life skills programming overall as personal development from when you pull all of those pillars together, but there is the opportunity to take part in kind of specifics as it relates to personal development. You'll see some yoga and some workshop-based stuff in there. We partner a lot with our health and wellness crew within the department, along with campus partners across the way for a variety of different opportunities for our student athletes. You'll notice too on the left-hand side, I've noted EDP 195, New Athlete Orientation. That is the course that all freshman student athletes will be enrolled and registered for in the fall, which is within athletics, and it's a course that is taught by all department staff and covers a variety of topics along the way throughout the fall semester. Things that we feel like our freshman student athletes need to know in order to be successful at Gonzaga, but particularly as a student athlete. How do we get started on the right foot? And what are the resources that are going to be there in this support system around them? So that is a huge piece of their development, particularly in the fall. I mentioned the campus partners, a variety of workshops along the way. So we rely heavily on that SAC group, but also just the feedback in general from our student athletes as to what is relevant right now. What are they hoping to learn? How are they hoping to grow? So those workshops can range from financial literacy to diversity and inclusion to everything kind of along the way that they feel like is really going to aid them, and we feel the same. So we'll get into a lot of that starting in the fall, but along their 4 years. Career development, they will have an introduction to the career resources, particularly those across campus in our career and professional development office. A lot of times things don't ramp up for them career development wise until junior, senior year. You'll see these pictures here are from our senior networking social. We want to ensure that they are building their career development resources over the course of the 4 years, not just waiting until senior year and thinking, now I need to decide what's going to happen afterwards. So we have incredible partners across campus that have career treks. They have resume and editing and mock interview opportunities and all sorts of alumni connections that they're able to make. So we will provide that this year as well. And then community building. I spoke about SAC and how they keep our programs and our community and culture together. And that is really, really important for us as a family, as a tight-knit community and culture, that we are making sure that not only everybody feels welcome, but everybody feels like they are thriving and they aren't in these pods or isolations within their teams. A lot of times our community building events did include the majority of our student athletes. You can see some of those pictures where we had 200 plus of our student athletes taking part as a way for us to come together. We are going to have to get creative in that too, right? For everybody's safety and to ensure that we're doing everything along each COVID protocol and to ensure that everybody is getting the most of it, but also that we're being safe. We're just going to have to make sure that we think of kind of different opportunities and different events and ways that they can also still connect back to their student athlete groups. So we will be providing some community building. A part of that is called ZAG Olympics, which is in that new athlete orientation class. So as a freshman, that will be a big part of fall. We find that as freshmen, a lot of times you're going to know your own teammates within your freshman group, but a lot of the feedback can often be that they want to meet and get to know people from other teams, right? A lot of those people are going to be in your classes and in your dorms, and you'll see them within the academic lab and athletic training room. So ZAG Olympics is incorporated into the new athlete orientation course. It's a fun team building, community-based program. We know that athletes are competitive, so there's games and a competitive piece to it in conjunction with the workshops and kind of the key educational components. It's a bit of a meshed program. So that one is a huge part of kind of starting off on the right foot and really kind of jumping into the culture and understanding what it means to be a ZAG right off the bat, and knowing that there are so many people, both from other teams, peer support, but also from a staff standpoint. So again, my name is Emma Moon. I'm the Director of Life Skills Development. You are welcome to reach out to me if you have any questions or would like to know more about our programming. We're excited for all of our ZAGs to get here. Can't wait to meet all of them and get started. We're really looking forward to this year and having everybody back on campus, and hope that everybody's doing well. Thank you.
Welcome to all new ZAG parents out there. My name is Bill Drake. I'm the Assistant Athletic Director for Student Athlete Health and Wellness. And I just want to first of all say welcome during these challenging times. And we're so excited to meet and work with all of the new student athletes that are coming in for this coming year. I just wanted to take a minute and hit a few of our high points in our areas that we work with. And it's a fun job and a good time to work with young people, even again during these challenging times. The 4 areas that I have the opportunity to work with are our sports medicine group, athletic training, our strength and conditioning area, our nutrition services, and our well-being mental health, with a special attention to the well-being and mental health of our student athletes. And again, during COVID, I think that presents some unique challenges in that area, which I'll touch on in just a minute. In our athletic training and sports medicine area, we're very lucky to be in the city of Spokane. It has great services. We work directly with Providence Medical Group and our lead team physician in that practice. We also work directly with Northwest Orthopedic Services, which is a specialty orthopedic group that helps us take care of all ZAG athletes. These two groups have been working with Gonzaga Athletics for over 20 years. And it's just nice to have some experience and expertise in those physicians. They're also all parents and have their own kids, and so they know what it's like to take care of young people today in the sports medicine world. Our strength and conditioning coaches, we're also very lucky to work with. Our head strength coach that we've worked with for many years is a former ZAG athlete. And has just done a really nice job in our strength and conditioning area. We also work with nutrition services. We have a good contract with Sodexo Nutrition for pregame meals for many teams and training table meals for many teams. We also have a fuel cell nutrition center that the student athletes have access to that is a real neat benefit for their nutritional needs while they're on the go. Very busy, need to keep fueled, keep hydrated during a busy academic week and a busy athletic week. And then finally, our well-being and mental health services. We work directly with our Center for Cura Personalis on campus to help take care of our student athletes that way, which in turn works with our health and counseling services. And we have good relationships with those folks on campus, as we do consider them students first. We also have the ability to have some resources for some of our private counselors in town, our licensed mental health counselors in town that we've been able to develop a relationship with over the last few years. And that's been a beneficial thing too. So there's many options there for counseling, many options for some performance enhancement, sports psychology type of services. And our biggest mantra, our biggest theme is that we want to work together as a team and keep all these services integrated. We think lots of universities have good services. One of our goals is to make sure those good services also work well together and do that. And one final note on the COVID protocols that we have worked really hard in the spring to establish, and we've worked very closely with our regional health district, with our on-campus health and counseling services, with our team physicians, and then also the NCAA and the National Strength and Conditioning Association. Lots of best practices that have been put out, and those are all in our protocols now, which have, I believe, in the process of final approval. And we feel comfortable with the safety of that. With that being said, it's a daily monitoring thing right now, where we would continue to monitor the safety and the health of each and every one of our student athletes. And with any questions, we make sure we refer them to a team physician right away for evaluation. We're doing daily symptom checks and all the things that our protocols have established. The final thing I would like to share is that as a parent myself, I know that I have a lot of questions and had a lot of questions when my kids left for college. And so I want to share my cell phone number with you today, and that is 509-432-6792. Again, my cell phone, 509-432-6792. And I would just like to say, there are no bad questions, especially right now with everything going on with each individual person's health and safety during this time. Gosh, if you have a concern, we have a concern. And I just want to make sure to offer to reach out to that cell phone number with a call or text anytime with questions or concern. My email is also Bill D. I'm sorry, it's actually Drake B at gonzaga.edu. Drake, D-R-A-K-E-B at gonzaga.edu. So please use those contacts to reach out anytime for any questions. And if we don't have the answer, we'll make sure to find it out and get right back to you. So thank you again for listening to this video, and go Zags!
Okay, So moving on to our final topic today, NCAA compliance. We saved the best and the most exciting for last. Actually, that's not true at all. This is information that your student athletes will receive on a biannual basis, if not more often. We have team meetings at the beginning of the year and then at the end of the year. So your child will also receive the same information. But just wanted to share a little bit about the NCAA rules that we have to follow. So this is our compliance staff. That's me, Ryan Oliver, Associate AD, Scott Garrison, who also works in our office. He's our Director of Compliance. I put our names, our email, our office, our cell phone numbers here so that you'll use them. We provide them to our student athletes as well and encourage them to ask questions. That is our motto for compliance. Ask before you act. Athletic compliance is tricky. The NCAA rules don't always make sense from a common sense perspective. So it's always important to ask questions. There's no bad questions. So what is athletic compliance? As a Division I member of the NCAA, we've agreed to follow all NCAA rules as an institution. There's about 300 pages of them. And so, as I mentioned, not always common sense. So our job is to educate student athletes so they know enough to ask when to ask a question. We educate our staff, our faculty, administration, our boosters, fans, supporters. Another part of our job is proactively monitoring our athletics programs, making sure we are following the rules, and then investigating and reporting if we aren't. That's part of the whole package when you sign up to be a Division I institution. So we'll get into a few of the nuts and bolts that we just hope that you understand. Seasons of competition. So the moment your student athlete enrolls for the first time in college and starts class, so the first day of class this fall, their 5-year clock starts. And within those 5 years, they have 4 seasons of competition. So the moment they step into the batter's box and take one pitch of a baseball game, one row out on the water, one stroke out on the water, one swing of a golf club in a competition, 1 minute in a soccer game, etc. The minute they do that, they've used a season of competition for that year. There are a couple of small exceptions for exhibition games and spring competition for fall sports, but those are the exception and not the rule. So just thinking about the moment your student athlete steps into competition for the first time, they've used an entire year of competition. There are a couple of exceptions, red shirts, if they just decide not with their coaches, conversations with the coaches, if they decide not to compete this year, then they've just used a red shirt season, and now their 4 seasons of competition will happen in the last 4 years of their 5-year clock. And then a medical hardship in the event that they're injured in a significant way, in an incapacitating way early on in their season, there is a potential with medical documentation to get a medical hardship and get that year back. Extra benefits. So this is a topic that we talk a lot about with our student athletes and with our boosters and with our staff. Basically, the idea is student athletes can't receive special treatment for being student athletes. They are only allowed to accept what's available to the general public or the student body. So this includes goods, services, access to things, and this rule also extends to benefits provided to student athletes' family and friends. The truth is, Gonzaga has an amazing community of people, and everybody wants to do really nice things for everybody else. Our community can't do nice things for student athletes, and we message this to our students. If your family member or Gonzaga Athletics didn't provide you with this benefit, you might not be able to take it, and before you do, you better ask. Examples: travel expenses, discounts on lodging, a free meal, access to a suite at a concert, a car or transportation, a round of golf at the country club here. Basically, our student athletes aren't allowed to accept these extra benefits. If there's ever a question, we ask that the question is asked ahead of time instead of after the fact. After the fact, it's a violation, which could include loss of some eligibility. They always have to repay the benefit of that, the cost of that benefit in real dollars to a charity of their choice to get back eligible. They could be ruled ineligible for contests and actually forfeit contests that were already won by their team. So the consequences are high and extreme. And so that's why we pay extra attention to this area in protecting our student athletes' eligibility. If you have questions about this, please encourage your students or yourselves to ask questions. It can be anything from a small benefit like a free cup of coffee because they love Gonzaga soccer, or a really large benefit like, here you can have a car for the next 4 years and just give it back to me when you're done. If this is the case, we're gonna run into some issues, and so we just always want to try and proactively prevent an issue before it arises. So we talked a little bit about boosters providing benefits, and that's not a great thing in the compliance world. So who is a booster? This would be a member of an organization that promotes our athletics interests. So ZAG's Athletics Giving, that's sort of our booster club. If they're a member of that, then they're considered a booster. If they've ever donated to Gonzaga Athletics, then they're considered a booster. Involved in any way in recruiting prospective student athletes to Gonzaga, which is a no-no for boosters, but if they do it, then they are in this category of boosters. If they've ever provided benefits to our student athletes or their families, then they become a booster. So maybe it's somebody that has never been a booster before, but gives a benefit that they probably shouldn't have to a student athlete. Now they become a booster through that act. Or if they've otherwise been involved in promoting an athletic program. The NCAA basically says they're going to err on the side of assuming almost everybody is a booster, whether they're just a casual fan or somebody that's given $5 to the institution or somebody that's given $5 million. So booster interaction with our student athletes, we just have to be extra careful that there aren't any extra benefits or inducements provided. Amateurism. I think we all know the main concept of amateurism. Student athletes cannot accept pay or promise of pay to play their sport. They can't be professionals. They can't use their athletic skill to get paid. Those are pretty common and easy to understand, that you can't get paid to play your sport, otherwise you're no longer an amateur. The trickier part comes in name, image, and likeness. So a student cannot use their name, image, or likeness to promote a commercial or for-profit company, even one that they start on their own. So common examples that we see is they do a testimonial for a trainer that they worked with throughout high school. Maybe one of their family members owns a business and they want to promote that, whether that's on social media or elsewhere. Or they've been given an opportunity to be a social media influencer. In all of these cases at this moment, those would be a problem with NCAA rules. In the event that a student wants to try and look into something like this, or has started their own business and would like to promote it, there are waivers that we can do proactively before the business is up and running, before they promote it. Anytime it's after the fact, it is a violation and we will run into issues. There are also some instances where student athletes can use their name, image, and likeness to promote nonprofit or charitable organizations. But again, all of those have to be pre-approved by compliance just to make sure that we aren't accidentally jeopardizing somebody's eligibility. I say all that to say name, image, likeness, these rules will be changing. They're changing over the next year or so. So you will read in the media about student athletes being able to profit off their name, image, likeness. Those rules are coming, but they're not in effect as of now and won't be for this academic year. So it is important that our student athletes continue to follow the current NCAA rules. Other compliance areas that we work with, financial aid and athletic scholarship. We are the liaison to that area. So if you have any questions about scholarships, let us know. Practice and competition rules, awards that can be provided to teams, any involvement with agents and agent education. Student athletes that would like a job, they need to register their job with us so that we can make sure that they're getting paid the going rate and they're working the amount that they say they're working. And that's something that every Division I compliance office across the country is required to check. We also cover areas like competition on an outside team, recruiting, sports wagering, handle a lot with the transfer process, if as an incoming transfer or somebody that would like to transfer out, as well as academic eligibility. So the short story here is, after all your education, you've received information about academic services, life skills, health and wellness, compliance now. Just know that your student athletes have access to a lot of resources, and please encourage them to take advantage of all that Gonzaga has to offer. We're here to help. We're here to answer questions. We're here to support in any way we can, and we want to welcome you to the ZAG family. If you have questions, again, some contact information. We look forward to hearing from you, and go Zags.